The Rekuza is designed by Minecraft Chicken God, which is an interesting name. This is S35VN on titanium sandwich design. It has a very large speed channel, but not nearly as large as this, where it's virtually just a sandwich. This is very much still a sandwich design. Um, I think this is a clip point blade or a drop point blade. I don't know. I always mess up the two. And you can see nice machine lines from milling. Also, this is number one. Originally, Alex was supposed to get. Sorry, I'm trying to show you the number one. Hello? Hello? There you go. You can see it. So originally, Alex was supposed to get the number zero prototype, but then I guess it got stolen, which is really unfortunate. Um, so once again, also shout outs to Alex Ravastra, who lent me these knives. He also lent me one more knife, which is the uh, Damascus Rebola blade on the purge handles. But I'm not doing another video for that because it's painful and I barely flipped it and I didn't like the balance. I'm sorry. It's beautiful. There are much better black Balisong knives that I can recommend. What can I say about the Rekuza? The Rekuza has these milled faces in this hexagonal pattern that is supposed to be reminiscent of Rayquaza. Um, the Rekuza, I think first was $600, but then he only made like five or so, and then he started to drop the price significantly, like around 500, and now you can pre-order a Rekuza completely raw, no anodization, for just $400. The Rekuza is, I think this is the one that's like 4.3. Last time I was like here? No. This one is 4.16. So it's comparable in weight to a Kraken. The Rekuza also had some issues with binding, surprisingly enough. Alex managed to figure out how to get this to not bind anymore. He got the pivots fixed or whatever. I think the blades weren't. I think there was some issues with reaming the pivots on the blade. But that got smoothed out, so this actually flips incredibly smoothly. In fact, the last time when I recorded a video with the Rekuza, all I could really say was smooth. I just said smooth over and over. Also, this sounds really good. And that stands, because it does flip really smoothly. But I also realized that this grip is not even that grippy. I would say that the surface grip is deceitful in that it doesn't really add much grip. And for a titanium knife, I find that surprisingly slippery. Um, it doesn't stick. Also, I wish there was jimping. I always wish there was jimping. I will say this always. I wish there was jimping. For Balisong of this weight, it's not as dire, and it is titanium, but this is legitimately one of the most slippery titanium knives I've ever flipped, which is just wild. It's really fun. It's good balance. It performs everything I want to do for the most part, and yet it still slips out of my hand for some reason. I haven't had too much issue with any tricks that I've been trying to do with this, as this I feel like gives me a pretty responsive, like, I just find that like when I do rollovers, it doesn't like stick nearly as hard as I want it to, and I don't know. I just find this surprisingly slippery. Now, for the $600 price tag, I'd say it's fine. $400, I say that's much better, and like that's a huge price drop. I know a lot of Balisong makers have a hard time selling their Balisongs, and they have to do small batches, and it becomes really expensive, and then they get really skittish, and then they drop the price because they're just like, oh no, no one's buying these Balisongs, even though I'm posting it everywhere, and then they drop the price, and then people see that they drop the price, and they're like, oh, well, it's much cheaper now, what's up with that? And then they drop the price again, and they go, oh, well, maybe I should just keep waiting until the price keeps going down. So now, for $400, you can get a titanium sandwich Balisong, and it's pretty fun. However, I don't think it stands out enough to me. Yeah, it's smooth. Yeah, it fans really nicely, and it does palm fans nicely, and it does rollovers mostly nicely, though I wish it would like stick to my fingers a little bit more. Like again, why is it so slippery? How does this happen? I guess honestly the surface I think could be a little deeper. Because it is fun. I wish there was jimping, and I wish it was deeper surface milling, which would probably make it more expensive. I think the blade looks pretty standard. It's got one flat and a couple of machine lines. But honestly, it's not a blade that I would recognize in a vacuum. Like if I were to just see a bunch of blades, I would not necessarily be able to be like, that's the Rekuza. These handles, for sure I could. But I don't know. Something about this, it's fun. It doesn't stand out enough to me though in terms of like a flipping experience. And my minor gripes about it is just its slipperiness, and it doesn't. I wish it like stuck closer to you when you did rollovers. Something about the balance. It's like it's well balanced. I will say it feels incredibly well balanced. It feels close to neutral with a slight handle bias. I just can't keep this fucking thing on my hand. Where did this washer come from? What the fuck? Just found a washer on my floor. And the number of washers on my floor, it doesn't make any sense. Whatever. Do I recommend the Rekuza? For $400 for the raw? I think it's reasonable. I think the Rekuza, if you really wanted one, for $400, yeah. For $600, I think there are other things on the market that I prefer. I do think this is a perfectly fine Balisong. I think it looks really cool. These handles look really nice. I don't know. Despite how well it flips, because it does flip well, I just find that it's like a standard weight, and it's Chanwich, so that's nice. I think Chanwich is my favorite of the handle systems because you kind of get the benefits of both sandwich and channel. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to try and acquire one. I'm like looking at like what's on my shelf that I like prefer. That's in the same price range. I mean, like, I guess the Channel Reaper is like 400. Do I like this more than Channel Reaper? Actually, honestly, maybe. But like, I don't know. The $400 price range is interesting because there's like quite a few things in there, and they kind of get outshone by most things a couple $100 more. In the $600 price range, I think this gets outshone by a couple of things, particularly haystack knives and machine-wise knives. But it is good. I don't know. Oh, you know what's in the $400 price range that I really prefer? The bandage stitch, actually. This is honestly more comfortable. I think the surface is more comfortable than the stitch. But, why is it so slippery? I don't know. And it's a good weight. It's 4.16. Like, the stitch is lighter. It's weird, because I'm trying to, like, grapple with my head that says, like, I should recommend this. It's a good knife. Why does my heart not... What's in my heart that just doesn't make me want to just like give this a resounding yes? And I don't know if I have the answer to that. It just doesn't feel it doesn't fill my heart with joy in a way that I expect when I flip a knife sometimes. And there are knives like I'm like, my collection is kind of out of control, and I'm trying to pare down the number of knives I have, and it's just really hard to sell things because I mean the market's really shit. This doesn't spark the joy that I expect. And some knives I've been thinking, I'm like, when I think about this knife, do I want to flip this? Does this spark joy? Yeah, when I pick it up and I flip it, I go yes. But when I think about it, I'm like, And this is giving me that kind of and I don't know. I flipped a lot of knives. And if your collection is small, this will stand out, and this will be very wonderful. I don't know. I don't know. But my critiques the things that stick out to me that I wish were slightly different, they're very minor. And you could flip this and you can be like, this is the shit. This is the best fucking thing ever. And I would be like, yeah, you know, your opinion on that, that's totally legit. You're totally allowed to think that. I I don't know. I wish I liked this more. I do like it, and I think it's really good. And I think for the reduced price now at 400, it does it is competitive on the market. I I don't know. I just wish I liked it more, and I can't really place my finger on why, despite the fact that it has a really good balance and it is very comfortable in hands. It just doesn't stand out to me in a way that I wish it did. But anyways, that's about that. Thanks again to Alex Nguyen, aka Soul Ravausra on Instagram. Uh, this is the Rekuza designed by Minecraft Chicken God, who is primarily known for his rep parts. And this is a really nice knife. I just wish there's something more. Perhaps in a future version, but I'm not sure. I think maybe fundamentally it's just how it is. But thanks again for everyone tuning in. Please check out the coffee in my description. A little bit goes a long way. Please show your support. I do daily uploads, and yes, I know that people have given me flack about not doing thumbnails because I do daily uploads. It just takes a lot more time to do thumbnails for everything. So, but if you donate to my coffee, I'll start doing that, I guess. Anyways, please subscribe and like this video. And if maybe you think I'm full of shit. Maybe you're like, this is the fucking tits McGee. I think that's totally valid. I think people who say that this knife is really, 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 really good and they love it and it's their favorite thing, I think it's totally valid. It's just something about me personally. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And have a great day. Happy flipping and stay hydrated.